Alright, if you're watching this video, maybe you're stressed from your GPA from school. I get it, I've been there. I was reading some comments on YouTube the other day and I was kind of sad hearing how traumatized people can be from the education system. So in today's video, I'm going to hopefully try to convince you that maybe your GPA doesn't matter as much as you think it does. I've shared this advice to my 4 younger siblings before, and this is going to be the video that I wish someone showed me as I was growing up in high school and college. Disclaimer, I am 24 years old. I am aware that I am a young bull and that I am not all-knowing. I still have decades of life to experience, hopefully, so take what I say with a grain of salt. What is this? What am I doing? I'm just here to share what I think since I just recently graduated college. Also, the purpose of this video is not to make anyone with a really high GPA feel bad. I have friends with 4.0s in college. They're very hardworking and they're very smart people. This video is just to help people gain a new perspective about what your GPA means to you in your life. Before we start, real quick, this is my 10th video on YouTube.
Jack it up.
Sorry about that. So please stop if you can, please. I spent a lot of time in making these videos and it means a lot to me and encourages me to keep going. So, all right, let's begin. Alright, so here's the format of the video. Feel free to skip to whatever section you want. I'm not here to waste your time. I would love if you watch the entire video, but if there's parts that interest you, feel free to move around. The timestamps are in the description. And here we go. Alright, a little bit about me. I am the oldest of 4 siblings, and I grew up with Asian parents. Now, I love them and I know they want the best for me, but unfortunately the stereotypes are sometimes true. I definitely got my fair share of lectures if I got a bad grade in school. I've gotten B's and C's and failed exams before. I don't really blame them for this behavior. I think it makes a lot of sense for first-generation families to have that mentality. You know, they want their kids to have good grades so that they can have a good education, go to a good school, get a high-paying job, and have a higher quality of life. But anyways, the point that I want to make is that I was raised to be a straight-A student. Now, I want to share with you my stats so that you have some context about me. I'm not here to flex. I don't have the best grades. In high school, I had roughly a 4.6, 4.7 GPA out of 5.0. And the funny thing is, I wasn't even in the top 20th percentile of my school. Now, despite this, I definitely developed some pretty unhealthy mindsets, I would say, about my GPA and, my grades. I was that kid that spent hours on, websites like College Confidential, obsessing over my stats, fantasizing about going to a really great school like an Ivy League school, because that was what I believed to be the only way to feel valued and to feel successful. I spent 2 summers working really hard and studying for the SATs, and I ended up getting a pretty decent score in the 99th percentile, but I was foolish enough to believe that that was all I needed to get into a great school and to have my life set for me. Ultimately, I didn't get into any of my first choice colleges when I was applying to school. And the most hilarious part is that my brother, he got into Yale. Disappointment child, gang, where are you at? Just kidding. This is literally what I experience when I go to Chinatown these days. What the? Bro, is this lady? Oh my god.
喂，你個哥哥係咪讀書啊 ？Yellow 啊？
What? Bro, how does she even know who I am? What?
哇，好犀利啊，好叻啊，讀書好叻
I didn't
啊
even！ say anything. What? I didn't even say anything. Just say something, Kanto.
你好，唔識講，唔識講。
That literally happened to me 3 times already. But anyways, yeah, looking back, I'm actually really grateful for where I went to college. Go Dragons. And for all the friends and connections I've made in my life. Okay, I'm ranting a bit too much, but yeah, anyways, that's pretty much my story. Alright, enough about that. Here are 3 things that I want you to understand about your GPA. Thing 1. Your GPA can be based on factors out of your control. There are a lot of factors that can affect your GPA. Maybe your teachers are trash. Okay, I've had some terrible professors and teachers before, and sometimes, to be honest, it's not your fault. So don't blame yourself if that's the case. There are also other situations that can happen as well. Maybe you have a crazy and abusive family. Maybe you can't afford private lessons or tutors. Maybe you have a learning disability. Maybe you're struggling with health issues. There's so many factors that can affect your GPA and your ability to study and get good grades, so just keep that in perspective. Thing number 2, millionaires have lower GPAs. This is something that I found really interesting that I want to share. Apparently, it's rare for valedictorians to be very wealthy, and the average GPA for millionaires is actually less than a 3.0 in college. And some even drop out of college, like Bill Gates and Oprah Winfrey, which I found really interesting. Now, does that mean you should drop out of college? No, please don't do that. Even though these individuals dropped out of college and were very successful, don't forget about the thousands of people that also dropped out of college but completely failed. You don't hear much about them, but please don't drop out of college unless you for sure know what you're doing. For the most part, for most people, it's probably smarter to just continue on with your education and to get a degree. Yo, what's up guys? It's Chris, the editor over here. While I was editing the video, I was not really happy with the way I communicated this section, so let me try to rephrase real quick. The point of me sharing this millionaire statistic with you is not to encourage anyone to drop out of college or to neglect their GPA. At the end of the day, I think your GPA means something about you, but it also doesn't mean everything. A high GPA doesn't mean that you're smarter than everyone and that you're going to be really wealthy in life, and a low GPA doesn't mean you're an idiot. Keep that in mind. Okay, back to the video. Thing number 3. Social and emotional intelligence is superior. Now, this is my personal opinion, so if you disagree, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. But I believe that social and emotional intelligence is so important. I've worked for multiple companies, and something I've noticed is that managers, directors, vice presidents, they have social and emotional intelligence, a lot of them anyways. A lot of them are great interviewers, negotiators, at least in my opinion. And I think that's a lot of the times why they're at their point in their career. This is a skill that I'm still working on because, like I said, I've always been focused on, doing well in school and not really developing myself in this area. But the number one advice that I tell my siblings anyways is that if your GPA is lower or isn't the best, that's totally fine. Make up for it by being a master of social and emotional intelligence. Okay, so first thing, I don't like having these extravagant titles on YouTube, so I apologize, but it's YouTube and I'm experimenting with different titles. So sorry about that. But something to learn about me is that I try not to spread misinformation or lie to you. I try to be realistic. And the truth is your GPA does matter to a degree. Get it? Like degree. No. Oh my god, that's terrible. All right. There are a number of situations where your GPA for sure is actually really important. And here are the situations. Number 1, scholarships. Scholarships often have a minimum requirement for GPAs, usually like a 3.0 or a 3.2 or something like that, and that's free money for you. So if you have a scholarship for a sport or an academic scholarship, like a merit scholarship, definitely make sure your GPA is above that because that's free money for you. Don't lose out on that. Number 2, graduate and postgraduate programs like PhDs, master programs, your medical degree, medical school. If you're trying to get into like super competitive, graduate programs, I'm not gonna lie to you, a lot of them do require a very strong GPA. But if your GPA is not the highest, that's completely okay. You can make up for it in other aspects of your life, like strong interviews, strong essays, good awards, things like that. Number 3, extracurriculars and sports. There are clubs and organizations that require a minimum GPA. Just keep that in mind if that's your goal to pursue, these sports and these clubs. All right, so I'm not telling you to fail your classes or to drop out of college. That's not my goal in this video. Please don't do that. I don't think that's the move. That is not the move. The point of this video is that I'm hoping that you learned a new perspective about what your GPA means to you and your life. I guarantee you that 10 years out, 10 years later, you're not gonna be caring about the C+ or the B- you got in Calculus 103. You're gonna be caring about paying off your mortgage, spending time with your family, planning a vacation with your kids, whatever. Don't let a number like your GPA or your SAT score define you. I want you to do your best in school, of course, and to study hard and to do the best that you can. But just keep everything in perspective and just understand that there's more to life than these numbers. But also, please do your best not to fail your classes. All right, this was a pretty long video, so I hope you enjoyed my thoughts about the GPA and that number. Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comment section below. I'm always up to have a conversation about topics like this, and remember, I'm just 24 and I don't know everything. I'm just here to share my own opinions. But anyways, these are my thoughts and I would love to hear what you think. All right, see you guys next week. Peace.